In the name of my ancestors, peace forever and always. Welcome to another edition of the Realities Temple on Earth. Of course, I am the host or the gatekeeper of this internet ministry. On YouTube, I am known as the Mighty Angel Snub Left 7. Your brother, and hopefully your friend, Talik Ibn Ra. I hope you enjoy the video that follows this introduction. Again, peace forever and always, and respect you. In the name of my ancestors, peace forever and always. Welcome once again to another edition of the Realities Temple on Earth. I am the Angel Snub Left 7, the host of this wonderful program. Your brother and hopefully your friend, Talik Ibn Ra. Our time passes very quickly, so let us get busy, and let me not get dizzy. Oh, I love y'all, okay? Now, really, serious. Many of us want to go back to Africa. Now, as an individual, as a citizen of the United States of America, if you really want to go back to Africa, y'all individuals, there's nothing stopping you from going to Africa. You never say really what country, because Africa consists of over 50 countries. You have countless tribes. You have countless languages that you have to deal with. You are not used to those things. But since you are so gung-ho and wanting to go back to Africa, then there's nothing stopping you. I wish you the best of luck. And there's nothing wrong with you wanting to go back to the place that you believe was your origins, your ancestors' original home. There's nothing wrong with that, brothers and sisters. There's nothing wrong with us wanting to go back to Africa. Europeans go back to England every year. They go to some place in Europe if they can afford it all the time, because they know that's where they come from. So don't be shamed, and there is no shame for a black man to say, I want to go back to Africa. But let us look at this thing in reality, because most of us, we're not talking about going back to Africa on a vacation. We're not talking about going to visit. We're talking about actually going back to the motherland to live. And as individuals, you can do that anytime you feel like it. Pack your bags, buy you a ticket, go to any African nation that you want to. You will still be an American citizen. I don't know how they set up their citizenship thing. You can probably get dual citizenship. You can be an American citizen, and you can also be a citizen in Ghana too. Chances are you can be a dual citizen. There's nothing wrong with that. But when we're talking about a mass exodus of black people, we who are called African Americans, or the so-called Negro in America, when you're talking about us, who number from 40 to a maximum of 70 million people in this nation, you talk about that many black people going to Africa, then you're talking some serious numbers. That's serious business. When there was less of us, Abraham Lincoln, the president of the United States back in those days, and those white people did think about wanting to send blacks back to Africa, just getting them the out of America. But it was cost so much money these blacks. Because, far as I know, and some of y'all write down your comments, far as I know, there is no African nation that has invited black people to come and live. Now, you can come as an individual, 1 or 2, 3, 4 at a time or whatever, but there is no African nation or Africa in general as a continent that has ever invited us to go back to Africa, and they would help us form some kind of colony or whatever. And that's another thing. You don't think you're going to go to Africa? All the lands, almost everywhere, is taken already. That's why they had to beat up on the Palestinians and take their land. Almost everything, all the land masses, all the land that we know of, is already settled. Somebody's already there. So when the Jews needed a homeland, they decided to pick on these weak people called Palestinians, beat them up, and take their land. So where are these new black people, these new black immigrants? Where will we settle? Then, once you get settled, whose law are you going to abide by? You got to take all these things into consideration. Because you are no longer under American jurisdiction. You now must submit to whatever African nation or country that you're in. Now, there can be a situation where they give you land. Some African nations say, look, y'all black people in America, you can come here and y'all can settle on this part of the territory and you can govern yourself. But see, there's always strings attached. Because if that nation is going to put you there, they're going to want something out of the deal. So you got to ask yourself, what do they want? It ain't out of love. Nobody don't do nothing out of love. We know that. It's always strings attached. And if it's not attached then, it'll be attached later. Then, let's say, for instance, once you are settled there, who's going to be in charge? Who's making the law? How are you going to be governed? Then how are your systems of law and your systems of education, how all these things are going to be set up? You think you're going to love it because black people are in charge. But you got to understand this. These are black people that still have a white man's mind. That'll be your number one mistake. I don't care how much they holler, Hotep, Black Power, Assalamu Alaikum, they still have the oppressor's mind. That's why you have places like Haiti, or you have places like used to be called Liberia, Rhodesia, where the black people were able to rise up against their oppressors and gain their freedom. They did gain their physical freedom, but they still have the mentality of the oppressors. See, that's why some of y'all got a problem with black unity, because y'all want everybody to be like you. If you part of the Nation of Islam, you want everybody running around with bow ties and selling bean pies. If you part of Black Power Hotep, then you want everybody to worship and bow down to some Egyptian god or whatever. You want all of us to be the same. That's not how it works. There's always going to be
peace forever and always. Welcome to another edition of the Realities Temple on Earth. Your host is His Divine Masculine Brother Administrator Talik Ibn Rad,